And back to your other question, I feel I would like for DEI not to be under HR. However, what I have learned in my experience is, because my last boss was an HR leader, depends on the person too, right? Because it depends on the leader who is going to be able to say, like, audit us. Go ahead. I'm going to be a way maker and not a gatekeeper, right? I'm going to say, you can go ahead and you can do this. And, if you have different departments, if you're an HR leader, if you're saying, like, I have, benefits here, HRS here, DEI here, I think it makes a little bit more sense in terms of departmentally. But I will tell you, one of the things that kind of scares me is when I was under a chief legal officer to the general counsel.
That would be terrifying. And I am no, thank you. That's a hard no for me. Honestly, a hard no for me is like DEI reporting into HR. Like I do believe it's really hard. Like when I'm building something for HR, I'm building it with my best intention. But the thing that we have to remember is my best intention still includes my lived experience. So something that is normal to me might not be normal to someone else. So I like the idea of DEI living separately, love it, support it always, because then you have a partner to tell you, hey, that thing that you are building is actually inequitable. And you might not know it. With your best heart, you might try to build something that you're like, this is fair to everybody. But an actual DEI expert could come in and say, hey, it's actually not fair. What you built right here doesn't work for a lot of communities. That's why I say I think it really depends on the leader who's going to be able to hear that. If somebody reports into them and say, like, hey, that thing that you built is really not equitable. If you're the kind of leader that's like, let me listen to this throughout so I can get it. But if you're the kind of person who's like, I'm not trying to hear that, that's more about you as the HR leader. Because the reality of this is this, right? There are a lot of companies who are cutting down on their DEI spend, and they are not having departments, and they're not having actual, executives. They're hiring manager level and below to do execution rather than strategy. And I think you got to work with what's best within the reality of your workplace and do the best that you can. And if you feel like you can't execute, then that might not be the place for you. But the reality of it is there's a lot of companies who are like, why are we spending this money? I come back to the fact, if you don't care and you don't want to participate, just say you don't care and you don't want to participate.
Say you don't care. I feel
you're going to save a lot of heartache and a lot of struggles if you just are upfront about who you are. But no one wants to be.
But know the consequences of that too, right? Because then if you look at our census and our population growth, by 2045, you're going to really wonder where your customers, your candidates, all of your investors are, because you've made a very specific stance to not include growing populations and demographics that are going to be more critical to your business than they are right now. So, I mean,
make your choice wisely. I mean, everyone knows there will be a day where I never have to say, but the business case for DEI, there will be a day where I never have to say those words again. And I look forward to that day because I'm going to celebrate with like a cake and balloons. I'm going to be like, people get it. They're like, your businesses are better off when they are more diverse. I will want tell you a lot of perspective.
I've said that at one of the conferences I was speaking at. I said, I'm tired of making the business case daily. Even an in-house person has to make the business case every single day, because people are not clear about what DEI means. They don't really have the clear definitions and how it applies to what they do. And so when we start using terms that we, again, feel like they mean something as opposed to what they factually mean, there's got to be somebody in the room who's like, that's actually not what that means.
Oh, you mean not just Elon Musk on Twitter? The Twitter discourse has been disgusting, to say the least. Just not something I really want to partake in or give any airtime to here, frankly, because I don't like that man. And I don't.
No. And that's the supreme example, I think, of the assumption that somebody who has a certain level of status and money is actually smarter than the rest of us, which is not true. And I'm hoping that people are learning that that doesn't make you smart. That just makes you ability to fail up quite a few times. And hopefully that irks you like it irks the rest of us. Because if you put anybody else in that man's place who is a person of color or whatever, how many chances do you actually think that person is going to have to be able to say some of the ridiculousness?